The North American Auto Club is back on tap once again, this time at a different surface, as we're here in Bristol for the Ammu-Nation Volunteer 200, the first of 2 dirt races in this season. Coming in tonight, the main news item are the flips during the E325 Innovations. We've had Ronnie Samples, Brett Finley, Thomas Tucker, Ethan Collins, and Kirk Jones all fighting their way upside down on underside during that race. A few officials, namely the deputy race directors Ken Gresham and Megan Marsh, who had a few words to say after those incidents, and at least I quote from Marsh, I'm not gonna say it is unacceptable for flips to happen in super speedways. That is a pacified point. But the way they've happened this week was really not the way we anticipate them to happen, and it's also something we're looking after a few flips in other tracks this season. Those other flips she mentions happened in the Race City Speedway, which is a short track, which was really unusual, and they're being also investigated. That sentiment seems to have been heated by the upper management, and it filtered out that the series officials and track management of the New York Auto Ring will have a meeting in the next few days to workshop possible solutions that would apply not only to the Auto Ring, but the other super speedways and other tracks as well, to curtail the amount of flips, which has been very weird. But that does also lead into another subject that felt like a whoopee cushion in the middle of a state dinner. Ryan Matthews came out very vocally against the quality of driving displayed this season, and I'd argue he has a point. Despite the opposition to him in fellow media circles being directed to the fact that his full-time drivers have been involved more often than not in incidents, he has a point. Because so far we've had 80 cautions in 10 races. That is not a small amount, especially considering the amount of laps contested so far, which has been 1,336. Which means we're averaging 8 cautions a race, but a caution every 20 to 21 laps. That is a terrible few years. This does lead to some heat on the chief series official John Harahan and the vice president of competition Phil Hartley. Both have been coy about these incidents and their enforcement. We didn't have a lot of hints, not a lot of words from the press, but we did get from a driver, I will not divulge which for obvious reasons, the following audio recorded in the driver's meeting, which we believe, despite the poor quality, it comes from Hanrahan, who took the officiating helm very recently.
We're having a damn parade out there. I'm sure y'all know that. A lot of y'all ain't happy. Other officials ain't happy, your owners ain't happy, above all else, the fans ain't happy. Guess what? Race has been bad. I know racing's aggressive. I know y'all pushing the limits, but this level of contact, this level of avoidable incidents, it is not sustainable. It's not what we want to see. We're losing the flow of the race. We are losing the rhythm. We're losing the excitement, and we're trashing every week. We're not here to penalize you. We're here to facilitate good, hard racing. But if we don't see a change, we'll be forced to park and deduct points from even more people again. I'm looking at you, Brett. We'll be forced to take measures that none of us want because the quality of racing is at stake. The reputation of the sport is at stake, and frankly, if y'all want to have a chance of moving up in life, your reputation's at stake. I do hope we do not have to repeat the again. Understood?
From what we understand, a few baselines were informed to drivers. Minimize restart chaos, reduce avoidable contact, respect your space on the track, and communicate with your spotters properly. Don't know how that's gonna work. We'll see how it goes. In the last but far from least item, the SQ Motorsports and Simpson Spark sponsorship lawsuit is now going to trial, very likely, because the legal representatives of Simpson Spark Plugs have refused some arbitration as stated in their sponsorship contract with SQ Motorsports. If you've been around Twitter, you saw that. And as such, the legal battle should begin this year, but we do not know if it will end this year. We do not expect that to be the case. I think we spent enough time talking about other things and not talking about this race, so let's finally talk about this weekend and start with the starting lineup. Lining up in the pole position, we got Luke Pellerin, the better of the siblings on dirt historically, with Thomas Tucker getting a great second place and Megan McDonald pulling a rabbit out of a hat, steals third place and gets 12 bonus points, while Lucy Barton and Corbin Dempsey close the top 5. Charlie Faulkner, one of the most experienced drivers in this field, starts in 6th place, while Caitlin Richler, a driver that has had experience in the snow in her native Alaska, got a very solid 7th place start, and Chris Benson, making his first appearance in the 8 car for S2 Motorsports, takes the number 8 starting position. We're scheduled for 200 laps, and due to the fact that this is still a short track, we expect only a pit stop for fuel at around 170-180 laps in, but being a dirt track, very likely we'll have at least one more stop aside from that due to the tires. We do remind you that due to the fact that Bristol is currently going through a massive surface change effort, they're going from concrete to asphalt back again. The banking on the track has been altered, and there's now only dirt in its place of the pavement. So instead of the towering 30 degrees, the turns have only 2/3 of that massive embankment. Weather has been an issue the whole week. We had rain on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and this Sunday morning. So much so this race was going to happen on daytime, and we had to postpone it for a couple of hours. But people remained here. They remain positive. The weather has held up. We're not only going to have a race, I'm sure it's going to be a very good one. Let's go trackside. Leading the field to the green is Luke Pellerin. He has a terrible start, and Thomas Tucker already has a go on the outside, but by the time they get to turn number 1, they are more or less even coming out of turn number 2. Tucker has the upper hand. You look there, Lucy Barton, Charlie Faulkner, and the 34 Omega McDonald having a fantastic start early, and she's already up there in 4th at the end of the first lap as Tucker continues to lead Pellerin, fighting back, trying to find space to make his move, but he can't quite get it. Tucker on the outside, the better line so far in this early goings on, clears the 88, and Thomas Tucker is the leader of the race early, and he already shuts the door on Pellerin. There you see in the middle of the field, Ashley Richardson, Robert Burton, Ryan Faulkner, Becky Pellerin, Caitlin Richler there, all jumbled up. Boyd Abbott I can see up there as well, Mac Henley too, all jumbled up in the middle of the fight. They are gonna try to make as much time as they can and gain as many positions as they can in this early goings on. Lucy Barton hanging on to the 3rd position as we come to lap number 5. 5 laps completed. Megan McDonald giving chase, doing the best she can to make her move, as Ryan Faulkner on the outside, losing a little bit of ground, but you see how the field's still very 2-3 wide deep, and they're still jostling around trying to figure out what to do. In the back of the field, Steve Garrett Jr. making his first start in the series. All his other attempts he failed to qualify. He is running very far away from the 7 of Ronnie Samples, trying to catch up, but he can't quite make it. Chris Benson currently running in 5th place, having a very solid start in the E-Jerk white car for the S2 Motorsports crew. Back right behind him, you can see the 18 of Mac Henley battling with the 23 of Robert Burton. They're having a very good run early as well. Tucker and Pellerin now battling for the lead again. By the time we reach lap number 17, Pellerin bided his time, and he finally gets near the 9 to pose a threat as they catch the number 5. And Lucy Barton having a look right there, right behind them, trying to make something happen. Doesn't look like she is gonna get close, but she's closing in actually. Tucker lost a little bit of control in the entrance of turn number 4, so Barton uses that chance to join the fight as the 9 laps the 5, and there goes the 98 using the 5 as a pick to pass, and Lucy Barton's gonna take 2nd place and put the pressure on Thomas Tucker, and there she goes for the 2nd position as we enter lap 19. You run with Luke Pellerin now, trying to recover the 2nd spot, unable to. Barton now to the inside, making her own move for the 1st spot. There she goes as we round out turn number 4. Is it enough? She has the nose ahead. And Lucy Barton, new race leader. As she clears the number 9. Does she? No, not yet. The 9 fights back side by side. And once again, Barton on the inside, forcing her way through, going as deep as she can. Can't quite make it. Tucker on the outside, crosses the line in front. And now Luke Pellerin chasing them down, losing a little bit of ground. You can see Chris Benson behind Pellerin there. And Thomas Tucker is going to clear the 98 once again. He holds the first position. As you now get to follow Chris Benson right behind him, you can see Charlie Faulkner there closing the top 5. Robert Burton, Mac Henley, and Corbin Dempsey right there as well. As the 9 catches the number 7 of Ronnie Samples to lap him. Becky Pellerin now making a move for 10th place on Mega McDonald. Boyd Abbott working his way forward as well. And there goes Pellerin on the inside, trying to make something happen. Is it enough as they lap the number 5? It is going to be enough. She's going to get past the number 9. And there goes Becky Pellerin inside the top 10. Joey Anderson had a poor qualifying effort, but now he finds himself in the 20th position, battling with Hibiki Murata and Riley McKee. Right behind them, you have Brett Finley and Kendra Brittany. All 5 of these had bad qualifying efforts, but they're working their way forward very slowly, very piecemeal. We're going to have to watch them for the rest of the race. Directly ahead of them, you have Scott Overton in 17th, Caitlin Richler in 18th, and there in 16th, Lee Schmidt in the Napa car. And the 62 giving chase to the 43, trying to make something happen as the 9 comes to lap the 420 as we enter lap number 26 of 200. There goes Luke Pellerin on the inside. He's going to try to use the 420 as a pick. It's almost going to work. Thomas Tucker gave a bump to the 420. You see Chris Benson there past Charlie Faulkner. Mac Hanley's in the wars as well. And now the entire top 6 under a blanket. Very near each other. Only 27 laps in. This race has been very interesting. Pellerin to the inside for the lead of the race. Is that going to be enough? Looks like it will. Luke Pellerin leads the way. Charlie Faulkner hanging on there, 5th position. Mac Henley, Robert Burton. You have 3 guys that are veterans of stock car racing, but Charlie Faulkner and Robert Burton are a little more veteran than Mac Henley is. But Mac Henley is also a series champion like Robert Burton. Demi Barton, currently the Rookie of the Year leader, not having a very good day at all. Currently, she's running in 27th place, very far away from her sister, who currently runs in the 2nd spot. Actually, 3rd spot now, 4th, 5th, 6th, 6th spot now. She gets held up by the 16 of Ethan Collins. That opened the door for Chris Benson to take the 2nd position. And Chris Benson chasing down the 88 of Luke Pellerin, the Tim Hortons machine. While Thomas Tucker, also because of the 16, fell back to the 7th position. He got stuck behind Lucy Barton, who was stuck behind Ethan Collins. Everyone was passing on the inside. She was just not clear. She didn't have a lane to move to. Charlie Faulkner now catching Chris Benson, setting up the pass as they're both catching Luke Pellerin as we enter lap number 34 200. This race is taking a long time to go by, not just because the laps are slower, but because there's a lot going on in the front of the field. As you see Collins now, and he is slowing down. He pits for tires right in front of his teammate. He slowed Kendra Brittany down. He's the first taker. He goes into the pits by the time we reach lap number 45. And now Chris Benson, as we open lap 47, is going to have a go at Luke Pellerin for the lead. As 2 Motorsports has shown, they have a lot of quality in their driver lineup. And the curriculums also are very impressive. You have multiple PCC Cup Series drivers in the 8 car. You have the current Try Hard 500 champion, Vernon Hargrove, in the 28 car. And you have the former series champion, the 2015 series champion, the 2014 series champion, Mac Henley, in the 18 car. As you see Chris Benson making a move on the inside of the 22 of Riley McKee. So yeah, they are going through the field doing lapped car management a lot as we are finishing this first quarter of the race. Chris Benson now laps McKee, passes Pellerin for the lead, and now he laps the 03 of Joey Anderson, who is hovering around the top 20, but he's now a little bit too far away from the cars that he needs to catch. Kendra Brittany now takes her time to go to the pits. She pits for tires as only the top 20 now is on the lead lap. Tammy Martin just got left by her older sister and just having a very bad adaptation to dirt. Tammy Martin's just not having a good day at all for a driver that has been at a constant threat for top 10s. Vernon Hargrove gets lapped by his teammate we were talking about, S2 Motorsports. Yeah, this time around, Hargrove has no sponsorship in the 28 machine. That was a problem that they ended up getting when Connie Brooks left that crew quite acrimoniously over the off-season. There's still that lawsuit over the Samson Spark Plug sponsorship breakup. There's still a lot of water to roll under the bridge. It's a mess, and I don't think we're going to resolve it too soon. Ryan Faulkner has worked his way up to 8th place. He's stable there, trying to hang on. Scott Overton has fallen to 14th, Megan McDonald and Boyd Abbott to 15th and 16th as they lap the 420 of Creeper Stevenson, the 5 of Steve Garrett Jr. They are falling lap down for the second time tonight. Ruby Carson pits for tires on lap 62. The tires were a massive worry here in the dirt tracks just because GripAll, I'm not going to say they are bad at it. I'm just going to say they're inexperienced in making dirt tires. They have always been an asphalt-focused company, always on late models, always on sports cars, always on stock car racing. So it's a brand new experience they're having for the last few years. So these tires, I'm not going to say they're bad, but they are not the most reliable compound in the market. But to find a different compound in the market, they would have to drop GripAll altogether. As you saw there, Luke Pellerin recovers the lead position as they lap more and more cars. Lucy Barton still running in 3rd place, still trying to chase down. And now Luke Pellerin comes around to lap his little sister, current series champion, Becky Pellerin, who is deep inside the top 20, but not a result she wanted so far, having a lot of difficulty. And here comes the 8, Chris Benson to the inside, trying to make something happen. Is it going to be enough? Looks like it might. Becky moves to the inside, 3 wide with a 33 of Kristen Young and a 63 of Claire Sendicott. And that could have been much worse than it ended up being. Oh my lord. And now Chris Benson is in the first position. Luke Pellerin in second. Corbin Dempsey, 2015 Series champion, running in 11th place. There you see Becky Pellerin right there. Yes, Becky Pellerin is in 13th. She's a lap down. No, she's in 12th. She's a lap down. By the time we reach lap number 75, the 33 of Kristen Young pits for tires. She's currently in 32nd place, and it's just not a good race for her. Boyd Abbott pits from 22nd place also for tires. He fell down the order quite a lot. Just not a very impressive race for the 99s. We reach 80 laps completed of 200. By the time we get to lap number 85, Ryan Faulkner gets lapped. Guess his position? He's 9th. So we are deep within the top 10. So the race being green for so long has led us to something that I've had commented on previously. That is the lapped car management races, where you're only working towards how efficient you are in lapping the cars ahead of you and how well that works. As you see, Ryan Faulkner pitting for tires as well. And Chris Benson continues to lead by quite a fair margin over Luke Pellerin, who has quite a fair margin to 3rd place. Lucy Barton, Peter Johnson, and Joey Anderson now on tap to be lapped a second time. And there goes on the inside. Is it enough? Looks like it will. Looks like he's going to make it very snug. And he laps the 69 right behind the 03. Vernon Hargrove pits from 17th place for tires. Again, remember, tires are not quite reliable. It's not that they're bad. It's not that they're blowing. It's not that they're puncturing. But they are very slow. You see now Lucy Barton falling to 8th place on the back of those very bad tires. There goes the 8 around her. And so you have an idea how bad they've fallen. Her best lap was an 18.822. Her last lap, 21.122. So it's a very slow lap. You lose a lot of time. There's a lot of disparity between lap speeds because it not only depends on the quality of the tire, but how well have you been wrestling that car. For example, Becky Pellerin is a whole second faster than Lucy Barton, but she's in 11th place. Thomas Tucker is the first of the top 5, the cars that are still on the lead lap, to take the time to go to the pits on lap number 97. He's going to pit for fuel and tires. He hopes to make it to the finish. And there we go, lap 99. It's time for Hibiki Murata in 22nd and Charlie Faulkner in 4th place to go into the pits. Chris Benson continues to lead. He has lapped McHenley. McHenley deep inside the top 10, has Kid Littler in his sights. Luke Pellerin still running in second, keeping stable. As you look, you can see the 9 there after coming out of the pits. He's very fast. He's very quick. Robert Burton has cycled into the third position as we are 101 laps in. Brett Finley now in the fourth position. The pit cycle has been jumbling the race order, especially because of how long this pit cycle has been. Lucy Barton into the pits. She leaves in 13th place. Gets lapped by Brett Finley, but those new tires should help her maintain at least him in the same lap as her. Ashley Richardson into the pits from the 9th position. Fuel and tires for the Dale's Pale Ale 58. Brett Finley in from 4th position as we enter lap 104. And he comes in, is going to be in, fuel, tires out, as you see them changing the tires of the 15. You ride together with Charlie Faulkner, who has been having quite a struggle. That car stalled in the pits. He has lost a lot of time, and he finds himself in 32nd place, struggling to recover his laps. And it's just been a bad race for the 85 that started very well. It could have been a way for him to get the championship lead, and that's just not going to be the case. We actually apologize for missing the fact that he did stall on the pits. There's been so many cars pitting at the same time that if something happens we end up missing, we can only apologize. Thomas Tucker currently running in the 10th position, and he now puts the one a lap down to him as he tries to catch the front end of the field. As by the time we are now on lap 108, Luke Pellerin now is in 7th place after pitting. Of course, after pitting, he finds himself in the 7th spot. Chris Benson into the pits, and he's gonna have his own stop to sort on lap 109. Let's see what happens. As you see the whole field go by, I can't even describe you who's the leader right now just because of how many cars are roaming around. We believe it is Robert Burton, the only other car on the lead lap. It's indeed Robert Burton, the new leader of the race. He's been very consistent, very solid. And Benson is going to be out of the pits in 2nd place. And he's going to have to chase down the 23 before the 23 pits, make up as much time as he can so that he can increase the gap he has to the rest of the field, as Luke Pellerin is right there with him. And they are in a fight together. Megan McDonald also out. Thomas Tucker finds himself in 4th. So in this pit cycle, he has beaten his major opponents. And the way things are going, Brett Finley right there also pitted, and he comes out in right behind, right in front of Tucker, almost a whole lap behind. And as you look there, Tucker to the inside, battling, struggling, doing the best thing he can. On the inside, his 3rd place is still about to be lapped by the 23 has such a large gap that it looks like he's about to be lapped by the 9, but the 9 has new tires, so Burton keeps losing time. He passes Scott Overton. Scott Overton now falls to the 3rd position, he also has not pitted yet. And now the leader, Robert Burton, comes into the pits, lap 117. That will hand the lead to the 6th. That's going to hand the lead to Thomas Tucker, 2nd place to the 62. But the 62 is very much slower than the number 9, so he's not going to be able to gain a lot of time, even to Robert Burton. As you see Burton coming around the field, when the 9 passes by, he's going to get the lead. And the 23 finally stops. There goes the 9. 9 recovers the lap. 9 is the new leader of this race. The 43 also pits. It's a problem with this race and how these tires are managed is that we're going to have the most confusing pit cycle in the North American Auto Club season so far. We probably will have more confusing pit cycles when we get to other road courses and races that do not go yellow like this one. So Thomas Tucker now leads. Brett Finley has now cycled down to 8th place, about to be lapped by the 9. So when the cycle's finished, Lucy Barton right there in 7th. She's going to become 6th because Scott Overton pits. at lap 122, and he's gonna fall down the order. Let's see what happens, because now he falls a lap down to Thomas Tucker. Chris Benson is gonna find himself in 3rd place. Robert Burton, I believe, is gonna be 4th, and Luke Pellerin is still in the 2nd spot. He gains the position from Chris Benson. He actually cycles ahead of Benson inside the top 5. Charlie Faulkner, after, remember, that stall and that immense loss of time, finds himself in 20th place, recovering ever so slowly, ever so slightly, gaining time, biding his time. Ryan Faulkner now cycles in the 4th position, and he's trying to gain even more time. He gained a lot of that time on track after pitting, so there is something to extract from the number 89 crew, but he might be way too far from the number 9 car, as Lucy Barrington, currently running in 5th place, about to be lapped, and she is now going to be a whole lap down as Tucker makes his move on the inside of turn number 1. Vernon Hargrove right there, 3 wide. That could have ended much worse. Hargrove moved down to give space for Barrington, almost moved into the 9, and there goes Thomas Tucker to lap the 9. We only have 4 cars on the lead lap. Those cars are Thomas Tucker, Luke Pellerin, Chris Benson, and Ryan Faulkner. And Barrington fights back, regains the lap, but Tucker to the inside again, and Thomas Tucker once again laps the 98. We got 4 cars on the lead lap, as he chases down the number 1 and the 63 of Chris Endicott, the one of Warren Majeski. And you see there, Majeski then goes to the pits by the time we reach lap 144. So this race has flown by after the field more or less settled, and Luke Pellerin's just way too far away. Boyd Abbott has to pit again. He has a puncture, and that's a shame. He was running very well in the 11th position. He goes in, and he's gonna have to switch those right side tires. There goes his race. And Charlie Faulkner also has a puncture, this time from 16th place. And that's gonna be it for him. His chances of winning this race, well, not winning, but at least the top 10, are completely dashed, as he goes into pits and starts losing positions by the dozen. And he was in the top 20. He's no longer gonna be in it anymore. Thomas Tucker continues to lead. You can see how massive the gap is, because you can't even see the 88 on screen. And we all now only are gonna have like 8 cars on the lead lap. It's gonna be very hard. You can see the 85 there. The engine died in the pits. The 85 might be done for the night. Pellerin driving to the inside of Carson and Dempsey and Calhoun right there in the 59. He laps the 81. He's gonna lap the 77. He's gonna make quick work. He's starting to catch the 9, but just might not be enough for the moment. Chris Benson continues to run in 3rd place, trying also to use the traffic in his favor to gain time on the 88, but he now has 3 cars to deal with, and Tucker has less cars to deal with. As you see, Ryan Faulkner ends up going to the pits as well. His tires got spent, and he could not steer that car. Kirk Jones now with problems. Tire puncture on the 32. No, it's the engine. I can see smoke on the back of the 32. The 32 is done for the night, but he gets it sorted and drops down to pit road, while the 89 now comes into the pits, as you saw him merging in, and he's gonna have to switch tires. That car is just in no condition. He cannot steer it, and there goes his chances at a top 10. Thomas Tucker into the pits as well. He may have pitted way too early, and with 36 laps to go, he's forced to go into the pits. We are on lap 1. We are working lap 165 of 200, and disaster strikes the 9. It was either this or banking it into the wall, and it would rather take the points than to lose all of them in one go. This will put Luke Pellerin in the 1st position with under 33 laps remaining. He has the 5 on his outside. He laps the 5 once again, and he continues to open the gap now to the 8 of Chris Benson. Warren Majeski there lapping the number 5, and you see there Chris Benson gaining the remember what I mentioned about the traffic? Chris Benson was going to try to use the traffic in his favor. It worked. He's now only 1 car away from being the car behind Luke Pellerin. He just needs to sort out the number 1 of Warren Majeski, and problems for Joey Anderson, who was running in 19th. That car slows down, a massive tire blowout for the 03, almost wipes out the 88. Caution is out. He's very slow on the field, and that's gonna change everything. You see the amount of cars recovering their laps. Not a lot of cars getting back on the lead lap. You see there, very few cars recovering their laps. And you see there, Ryan Faulkner, Ibiki Murata. Quite a few cars are gonna wave around because look at Luke Pellerin pit. Luke Pellerin and Chris Benson decide to pit because since they're the only 2 cars on the lead lap, the order won't change for them. They're gonna restart first and second. And a lot of the people that pitted later do not need to pit again, so they're just gonna wave around, and that's gonna be a very smart play for them as well. So this changes a lot of the complexion of this race. You see there, Luke Pellerin, Chris Benson, Hibiki Murata right there, but the biggest surprise is Ashley Richardson. She waved around, and she restarts in 3rd, green flag, and it's a 25 lap shootout for the win. And there you see the 88 and the 8 fighting for the first position with the 52 and the 58. The 81 and the 43 have loose lug nuts, and they are forced to pit again. Problems for the 81, problems for the 43. They're not gonna fight for this win. Ashley Richardson now driving that car deep on the outside, trying to make a move on the outside on Chris Benson. Is it gonna be enough? Doesn't look like so right now. There goes the 23 of Robert Burton on the inside, trying to make something happen there. Is it gonna be enough? Doesn't look like it will. It is. And Robert Burton now setting up a move on the 52 Ibiki Murata. Correction about that, because everybody lines up in single file regardless of their lap status. Robert Burton does restart behind Hibiki Murata, but Hibiki Murata is a lap down in relation to him. Brad Philly now finds himself in 5th place, having to manage a lot of lapped cars. Thomas Tucker, by pitting earlier, he ended up losing a couple of laps, got back on the lead lap, but he had to restart in the back of the field, so he's having to gain position by position as we enter the last 20 laps of this event. And as you see there, Ruby Carson on the inside, on the middle there, stuck in the middle. Brad Philly blows up. Brad Philly blows up with around 15 laps to go from 6th place, and that is a shame. The 15 won this race last year on the concrete, unable to make a repeat. Chris Benson running in 2nd, trying to fend off Ashley Richardson. Luke Pellerin right there, Richardson fighting with him. And Richardson trying to find some space, cannot quite do it. 14 laps remaining. Pellerin now, Richardson to the inside. Pellerin has the 16 and the 5 to deal with. Richardson already driving the inside, trying to set him up to stay behind the 16. And the 58's gonna use the 16 as a pick, and the 16 is gonna use the 5 as a pick to stay on the lead lap as we enter the last 10 laps of this race. Richardson and Pellerin side by side. Collins to the inside, holds the 58. That does not work, and Garrett gets to be ahead of the 16. And now Ashley Richardson has to start the work all over again. And she drives deep, recovers the spot, and she's now on the inside, and she has more or less a clean lane to the 88, but she needs to pass the number 5. McKinley out to the inside of number 2, powering through, trying to set up a move and trying to gain a position as Thomas Tucker having to deal with all the lap cars. He's up to 6th, mostly because Brad Finley blew up, but he's gaining positions as well, trying to finish this one inside the top 5, trying to catch the 18. Ashley Richardson now once again having to lap the 33 of Kristen Young to the inside. Is it going to be enough? Doesn't look like it will. It will. 5 laps to go. She's on the inside. She's going to try to set up a move on the exit of turn number 4. Not quite, but the 32's up there ahead. The 03 also there as well. 4 laps to go. 58 on the inside. Is it enough? Side by side on the back straightaway. Is this it? Not yet. Once again, Richardson making a 3 wide for the lead, and Ashley Richardson now for the lead of the race. On the inside of the 88, she leads the lap. 3 laps remain. She laps the 03 of Joey Anderson, trying to pull an upset. Ashley Richardson hasn't won a race since 2012. In 2012, she got injured. In 2014, she had a bacterial infection that forced her to be sidelined for 2 additional years. She made her return in 2016, and she has battling to get a win again ever since. 6 years winless. Luke Pellerin trying to win another one in 2018. Trying to find space. 2 laps remain as they lap. The 26 of Kendra Brittany and the 62 of Scott Overton. On the inside, white flag is in the air here in Bristol. And Richardson hanging on to the inside. Chris Benson joins the fray. Chris Benson on the inside as well. The 3 leaders are on the inside lane. They have a clear track now. Luke Pellerin to the inside, forcing a space. Trying to make it happen. They're side by side. Coming out of turn number 4. This is going to be a drag race to the finish. And I don't know who won. I don't know who won. We're gonna have to look in the slow motion, frame by frame, at the start-finish line. Luke Pellerin wins it. Luke Pellerin stole this race. You look at the start-finish line, he's clearly ahead. He's a sliver ahead. The timing and scoring just came in 0.004 seconds by 4 thousandths of a second. Luke Pellerin has won this race. Let's ride with him in this final lap. He saw Kendra Brittany on the inside. He had Scott Overton on his outside as well. And as he came to turn number 3, he saw a space. Ashley Richardson drifted just slightly. And that was the difference between the pleasure of victory and the despair of defeat. And now you ride with Richardson to the inside. You see how the camera moves to the inside. An incredible finish. And Luke Pellerin wins here in Bristol. This could not have been a cleaner race, taking into account all of the controversy that was brewing, and it could not have been a more spectacular finish. Luke Pellerin secures the closest finish in dirt on the North American Auto Club. He beats Ashley Richardson by a mere 4 thousandths of a second. Chris Benson, who was following them closely, hoping for a blooper from both of them, did not get it, but a 3rd place is a fantastic result for his first North American Auto Club race. While a barnstormer Robert Burton ends in 4th, with Thomas Tucker hanging on to 5th position after starting in 2nd, and these were the only people that finished on the lead lap. That's what happens when you have a clean racing. It takes its toll, and it led to this super spread out running order. Scott Overton, who is Robert Burton's teammate, finished inside the top 10, but is the first car 2 laps down. If you go down the order enough, Lee Schmidt was the first car 3 laps down, and he finished inside the top 20 in 18th. Kendra Brittany was the first driver 4 laps down, and she got 26th. Out of the 36 starters. So when races start to get cleaner, we start to get the lap car management races, and this is one of the most interesting types of short track racing dynamics that I sure hope we get to follow up later this season. It would be a shame to have multiple smash fests coupled with the ones that we've already had. Leaving Bristol, the win secures Luke Pellerin a total gain of 74 points, and he vaults over Rebecca, Corbin Dempsey, and Fontana winner Charlie Faulkner to become the top contender to Ryan Faulkner right now. The thing is, the young Faulkner has been hanging on to that lead and sometimes even enlarging it solely on consistency. Don't know how long that will stay being the case, but you do not change players on a team that's winning. We'll see how things go on the 89 crew. In the Rookie Challenge, finishing in 22nd place has taken a toll on Tammy Barnton, but to the chagrin of Warren Majeski, Kendra Brittany, and Vern Hargrove, not only the toll was only 2/10, Ben Makowski finished his 4th race of the season, and by meeting the minimum requirements for the Rookie Challenge, has also vaulted Majeski, Brittany, and Hargrove, and is now Barnton's top contender. It's still too early to call it's still too early to call to who can get this done, especially because Joey Anderson also has yet to make his fourth start or attempt, so he's also gonna change the positions in the championship right now for the Rookie Challenge. It's gonna be a matter of seeing how well Tim Barton can manage that difference she has on the rest of the field. In the Owners' Championship, the number 7 from Sample Sports has lost more points than Samples would prefer to admit, and became a willing participant in that scramble for the 24th position. Joey Anderson had a hard day, but despite it all, he did make up some 6 points on Warren Majeski's number 1 Mazda, which is a small gain, but when things are narrow like they are right now, any gain is worth its weight in gold. And as we go to the second shortest track we'll take on this season, any position is crucial in all championship battles we have. The next race for the North American Auto Club Challenge Series powered by GripAll is the Bum and Beaver Brewery 300 at the Ohio Motor Speedway, another Midwestern bull ring sure to make things more and more complicated as we will complete the first third of 2018's calendar. I'll see you next time in Ohio.